Hey, my name is Jannis. I'm the product manager for SONOR drums. After the release of our Momentum series, we have asked our community if you have any questions about Momentum, and today I'm here to answer them for you. Yes, Momentum will replace the SQ1 and ProLite series. That's actually a very good question. So with SQ1 and ProLite, in the past we have noticed some limitations. SQ1 was only available in birch and only satin lacquer finishes. ProLite was only available in maple and only semi-gloss or high-gloss veneer finishes. So with Momentum we wanted to break up those limitations and offer the birch shell, the maple shell, and a modern beech shell. So a beech shell with 45-degree bearing edges in one of our regularly produced series. At the same time, we also wanted to offer all the finish options that are known from SQ2. So we wanted to offer a wrap finish, a satin lacquer finish, and veneer finishes. Yeah, so what makes Momentum unique is that Momentum is offered in beech, birch and maple shells in all the same finishes. So you have a wrap finish, you have two lacquer finishes and a veneer finishes that are all available in the three shell materials. And what that allows us is that you can choose what wood you would like to have for what drums. So you could combine a beechwood bass drum with maple toms and birchwood floor toms, for example. But you could also choose just one coherent wood for all drums if that's what you would like to have. So basically with Momentum you can choose what aesthetics you would like to have, what sound you would like to have, what setup you would like to have. That's why we chose our slogan, "Now it's your turn." Yeah, so talking about the differences between SQ1, ProLite and Momentum a little bit more in detail. To start with the shell construction, ProLite used a very thin maple shell with reinforcement rings, and the SQ1 series used our medium-heavy shell construction, which is between our medium and heavy shells. And for our Momentum series we have gone to our medium shell construction, so 9-ply 6mm medium shell, because we have received a lot of feedback that this is really the most versatile shell that we are offering, because it responds basically to every dynamic range, so from very quiet playing to very powerful playing. And also, over the years, we have noticed that the medium shell has become the most popular shell in SQ2 because of that reason. Talking about the hardware features, of course, lugs and hoops for ProLite, SQ1 and Momentum, they are all the same. Where you really see the differences in the tom-tom and floor tom mounts. So for the tom mounts, we are using our total acoustic resonance system that we inherit from our ProLite series. And on the floor toms, we are using the sound sustainer that was previously introduced on SQ1, because we noticed with those two solutions that sound sustainer was superior on the floor toms. But on the mounted toms, we noticed that the total acoustic resonance system was superior, so that's why we chose this one for the Momentum series. And also, what's the difference between Momentum, SQ1 and ProLite is the finish offerings. Because, as I said before, the limitations with ProLite and SQ1 was that you were only able to get one shell material with one certain finish options, and for Momentum we wanted to break that up. In Momentum we are offering all three woods that we are also offering in SQ2, but also all the surface options that we are offering in SQ2. So we are offering a wrap finish, two satin lacquer finishes and a veneer finish, so that everyone is able to choose the wood that they want to have combined with the look or the aesthetic that they want to have. Yes, of course, there will also be some finish updates to our Momentum series, like with any other drum series. We have 4 finishes to start with right now, but this is something that might of course change in the future. Yes, as you've probably noticed, we are offering some pretty interesting drum depths in Momentum. And when coming up with the Momentum series, the diameters that we wanted to offer were already pretty clear to us right from the start. But the depths we have been thinking about a little more, because we definitely wanted to have evenly spaced intervals between all the drums. also for the tonal intervals, but we did not want to use inch intervals between, or evenly spaced inch intervals between the drums, because on a 12-inch tom and a 13-inch tom, the 12x9 and 13x10 are already pretty deep, so it makes it a little bit hard to position on the bass drum if you want to set up really low. And of course, on snare drums, we are already offering those 3/4 inch depth differences, so that's why we thought, okay, why not transfer that also over to the toms? And this worked out very well, because we have now drums that are not so deep, so that they are easy to position, but also the tonal intervals that you are able to get are not compromised by that and very pleasing. Yeah, so let's start with beech. Beech is of course the classic SONOR sound, and compared with birch and maple, it probably has the driest and most tonal characteristic, but also the most projection. Maple, on the other hand, has more focused lows with balanced mids and highs, and it's really the prototypical hi-fi drum sound. Birch, on the other hand, has, compared with the other two, a very sharp sound, so a lot more high-end, but also a lot of low-end, so you are basically getting a pre-EQ'd drum sound that's with pronounced highs, pronounced lows, and a focused mid-range. Momentum Beech and the Vintage series, to start with, they use the same shell construction, so they are using both a 9-ply 6mm shell, but on Vintage we use a fully round over bearing edge. On Momentum we are using a 45-degree bearing edge, and in terms of the shell hardware that is used, we are using the triple flanged super profile hoops, where the last flange is going inward, and on Momentum we are using classic 2.3mm power hoops that flange outward. Overall, the sound on a Vintage series kit, due to the edges and the hoops, is a little drier and a little warmer, because the hoops and the edges are dampening the attack and the sustain a little bit, whereas on a Momentum kit you are getting the same sort of tonal characteristic as on a Vintage series kit, but with more attack and a more modern overall sound. Yeah, so as you might know, in the ProLite series we have previously been offering steel and brass shell snare drums. Those snare drums will not be taken over into the Momentum series, so they are discontinued together with the ProLite series. But of course, made in Germany metal snare drums is something that we are always thinking about. Yes, it was actually our intention to not offer the Momentum series with a bass drum mount, because during this year, so during 2026, we will offer a solution to that problem that's interesting for both those drummers who already own a Momentum kit and want to add a bass drum mount to that, but also to those who are looking into Momentum and want to get that with a bass drum mount.